Well, welcome back to World Tour here at Imola for round 5. It's very nice and wet in this qualifying session. Halfway through, unfortunately, we had a few behind-the-scenes problems, but Split 2 has finished. Split 1 is now doing their qualifying. We'll get back into that in just a second. You can see the times on the left-hand side anyway. But yeah, welcome back after being a whole month away. Last time we saw you guys was at the 24-hour Red Bull Ring, and boy, that was a interesting dry race, unfortunately, but it was nevertheless a interesting one indeed. And yeah, some of the drivers liked it, some of the drivers didn't like it, but it's Red Bull Ring. It was very difficult. Hearing some feedback from the drivers, tires got chewed up a little bit in that, and they only had 16 sets to last them the full 24 hours, so very interesting indeed. But here today it's only a 6-hour race with 4 sets, so just have to wait and see how they do. But here is the split ones. They're going out on the track now and trying to get their tyres warmed up in this wet weather. As we can see in the top right, the rain is decreasing, so you might see some quick lap times come in today. Well, my name's Ted Edwards. I'm on the microphone today. Joined with me on the microphone and the cameras is our lovely Jessie Lee. How are you doing today, Jessie? Are you ready for today's race?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody at home. Welcome to the World Tour finale for 2024. It's a wet and a muggy day here at Imola in Italy, and it certainly will be an interesting qualifying session for the pro and the upper silver drivers. Of course, 3 different classes, the 2 splits combined. The first 2, or split 2 cars, have already qualified. Daniel Tomlinson on pole position in the 666 car. And then the pole position in the AM class, Saber Kitsune is in the number 58 car, have already qualified P1 in their classes. What will it be here for the other 2? We will see as they get going, and some lap time surely going to be coming in. This was a 30-minute session, Ted. 15 minutes for the what we consider split 2, and 15 minutes for split 1, split right down the middle, all in the interest to give everyone adequate sort of distance on the track and a good probability to run a clean lap without running into too much traffic.
Yeah, even though we only have 38 cars today out of the possible 40, Imola's pretty tight, pretty narrow. In qualifying, split 1s will be going full beans as you always do. Same with the split 2 drivers, but we've got some esports drivers in the split 1, and they'll be hammering every single corner and getting them perfect. So their times will be drastically different from the back end of the split 2, and you don't want them to mingle too much. Split 2 might get a little bit worried about the car behind, trying to get past them, and obviously the split 1 driver might be a little bit impatient, so things can happen. But just have to, it's just one of those things where you have split like something like that as a contact in the qualifying. That's not a really good rejoin from Stan Van, but that will be noted by the stewards, as we do have live stewarding today. I'm not sure if it's for the whole duration of the race, but drivers can.
It isn't. The middle section will be there'll be a form, right? And the teams will be expected to use said form, but the beginning and the end, of course, will be live stewarded. Everything at the end, I assume, will be taken care of, but the middle few hours, it will be sort of collected, and when they reconvene in a few hours' time, they will do or finish the stewarding out. Sorry, I was just confused by what I was looking at. Realized that we had the Kaiser in the number 2 car. The Vlanderer ACC car has gone P2 overall. That's the quickest of the split 1 cars that we would expect, and they were just about 77/100ths off the ultimate pace set by split 2. That's got to make you feel good. Lap 1 not completely overtaken yet. Of course, lap 1, not the end of it, still got the better part of 10 minutes, but it's almost like a feather in your cap as a split 2 driver. So yeah, I can compete with these guys.
Yeah, even though it's not for any points between the 2 splits in qualifying or the race, it still gives you a good feeling as Philippe Breccia for the RCI Esports blue car in the Bentley going at top by just over a tenth and a half, but tenth and a half over a split 2 driver is interesting. But yeah, it definitely gives you a boost if you're in the, let's say, the slower split from the pre-qualifying we had. That doesn't go to say they are a slow car or a slow team. They could be really good at Imola and not good at another track. You know, pre-qualifying is not at every single track we have on the calendar. It's at a track, I believe it's a track we weren't, it wasn't in the calendar, Jesse, if I have a quick look back. It was at Barcelona.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're correct, yeah.
It was just one of the tracks that gave us a more balanced qualifying, hot lap qualifying. I think it's hot stint qualifying, should I say. So it's just one of those things to try and balance out the cars rather than having one car more overpowered than the others. But it's going to be very interesting today, Jesse, as we're seeing 10 minutes time, which will be at the end of the qualifying. Rain getting less, down to the light rain from the medium we have now, but there is sort of a dry line forming, as you can see in the middle of the track. That is where most of the grip will be for these drivers. And Badowski down in 18th place, not somewhere where you want to be, mingling with the split 2 silvers, sat behind Phil Robertson in that 202 Nissan.
Philip Ingman, meanwhile, for nearly on pace, has gone top of the board in the 899 Porsche, and what a lap that was. A 147.054. That is just about 35 100ths better than João Manso was able to do in the 707 car. Felipe Brecha, who was on provisional pole, has been demoted back to third, but a couple, or at least one, of the split 2 silver drivers, Daniel Tomlinson, still up there inside the top 5. De Keyser is in 5th, and that's pretty good. That's a split 1 silver driver. So holding their own, Davey Hill, Joe Dauber 6th and 7th in the running order thus far. Still a lot of time left to go. And speaking of Davey Hill, he has just went to the top for Stone Cold Racing in the BMW 316 car, hailing from the proud nation of Scotland and getting it done here. It's not very stone cold out there today, but that is the bottom line.
Yeah, saying that, this number 2 car has just gone top, Jesse, of 46.225, followed by the João Manso 707 with a 46.615. So yeah, that rain getting less and less, as it doesn't say in the weather widget, but we can see the times are getting faster and faster. 7 minutes left to go with this qualifying session for the split 1 folks. Split 2 has finished, so they can sit and relax and grab themselves some drinks, ready for the race, the 6-hour race we have ahead of us. But yeah, I'm just waiting for a 45, Jesse. I'm pretty sure one will come in. João Manso.
It won't be from João on this lap. He's coming in. I don't know if he invalidated or he ran a little bit wide and realized that he wasn't gonna make up time, or he lost too much time. But he definitely put that car back into the garage. Something João did not like in the 707, and he is back in the garage. And Aston Martin leading a Porsche, a BMW, a McLaren. Not bad for the top 4 right now, as Benjamin Heilman in the 796 RCI car goes up to P4. Stan van der Kolle in 6th place, actually just been knocked down one because Adam Dubiel, the number 500 Ferrari, has gone P3 on that lap, as we stay with the nearly on pace car. Nearly on pace maybe, but nearly on a pole run here. If they can keep this up, they're going to be a couple of tenths short, but this is going to shoot them way up the board.
Yeah, as they come up to the line, just on that kink there, from 6th place all the way to 2nd, Jesse, 0.377 behind the number 2 in split 1 silver.
That lap is nuts by the Vlanderer team. That is a 46.225. De Keyser putting on a show in that Aston.
Yeah, Aston Martin good in the rain. Yes, Aston Martin good in the rain around Imola. Yes. It's both my boxes. There you go. This second Aston Martin has jumped up into 4th place at 4.75, doing a 1 minute 46.760. So Aston Martin's climbing. Porsches are in the middle. It is a Aston Martin and Porsche sandwich heading there. The 500 Ferrari is in 5th place. So we just have to wait and see. I have to see if the Bentley can head up there as well. with its minus kgs on its ballast, as we do have a bop on today for this race, as like we have done for the whole series, to try and make it more balanced between each of the cars.
Trying to keep it balanced is the utmost sort of priority, to have a good race so that teams can pick whatever car they're most comfortable with and remain competitive out there. It's like hitting a moving target, of course, but some of the time it works out perfectly, that's for sure. Wet weather here in qualifying, but certainly a drier line, and I think my partner's absolutely correct that that is helping run some of these quicker times, but it's treacherous, and I wonder how many teams will find the line, how many teams have the correct driver in the car that has the confidence to get that momentum and get further up the board. Felipe Brecha's on a quick lap, but the problem is that lap is not valid. They've gone off the racetrack at some point, so they'll have to give it another go. Miles Dixon for Onid Esports is on a really quick lap here. This should This should jump them up somewhere further inside the top 10, maybe about 5th or so. We'll see when they cross the line here. How far do they go? They go to 6th, and that's a pretty good improvement. Almost forced outside the top 10. Now certainly solidly in that position. Car still circulating, trying to improve. One car that is RPMS SimSport João Manso, though admittedly coming in Aqua Minerale, which is full of aqua, or minerale. No, aqua's a color, but I confused aqua with agua is what happened right there. There's a lot of minerale in that area currently right now, but lost all that time getting into Aqua Minerale, gained it back, and lost it, a lot of it again, coming out of the chicane, but still about a 10th or so up.
Yeah, every 10th counts, Jesse, as we all know. It doesn't seem a lot, a 10th, but it can always give you that place ahead of another car coming through the last corner. Oh, a little bit bouncy. You can hear the CC and the wheels.
He's up, though.
Going crazy. He is up. He is up quite a bit. Let's see if he can take away second place from the other Porsche. And he does. Only 10th behind P1. 2 minutes 30 left to go. He's going to have to keep going unless he comes in and changes the tyre pressures, which I think some of the cars have done, some of the drivers have done, because it is got lighter and it does keep getting lighter every single lap. So tyres are getting a little bit warm out there on track.
Yeah, speaking of warm, where I am in the world today, it is incredibly hot. And when I mean it's hot, I mean, well, you could fry eggs indoors hot without a stove. And so I do apologize if you hear a fan or air conditioning noise today. But, you know, I prefer saunas in the wintertime. Looked like Miles Dixon went to P4 for the time being. A couple of cars improving, including Felipe Brecha, who goes P3 for RCI Esports Blue, a 46.402. It's getting a little crowded at the top. Remember when De Keyser had the better part of 3.5 tenths of a gap on the rest of the field? That is becoming rarefied space currently, as everybody improving. The track is certainly improving, Ted, and it's certainly improving for Benjamin Heilman. Oh, they lost a little bit there coming through the final couple of corners. We'll see just how much they improve.
So from 10th place up to 8th place, only 6/10 behind. Not far off 7th place either, so not too bad of a time from Benjamin Heilman in that McLaren. The only really fast McLaren we've got out there, the next McLaren is 6/10 behind Heilman as well, down in 13th place in split 1 silver, I believe. Yeah, only 40 seconds left for qualifying to go. You can still get another lap in if you are going out the chicane. I think you'll just be able to make it, but yeah, see that in the next 10 minutes it's getting to very light rain. It doesn't really matter for these guys because everything will change after the qualifying.
Sure will. Joe Dahlberg did improve on that lap. We're in a 46.6. Wasn't too long ago. A 46 was sort of rare to see, but now just about everybody inside the top 10. In fact, there are indeed everybody inside the top 10 running those laps. Here comes the Forza Italia.pl car. DeBille goes P7.
very nice indeed. Oh, and Jordan Daly jumps up into fourth place, now down into fifth place in the other Bentley for RCI Esports Red, and then the 888 jumps up into fourth, taking away that fourth place from Jordan Daly just there at the end of their lap as well.
Steph Pasqui for Swiss RC. Where did they come from?
Probably pit lane, Jesse.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be all day with you. Well, here is De Keyser again. They haven't had to do a whole lot of work today. They've run a couple of laps. They've both been brilliant, but they need a little insurance, and they might just get it here a couple of tenths up. And yeah, it's going to be 46 dead, restoring the 0.3 of a second lead that they enjoyed for the majority, and they are going to go ahead. Amadeo is going to take that car back to pit lane. Vlaanderen has destroyed the field thus far here in qualifying. They just seem to have it. Every lap that they need it, they have it.
Yeah, it was crazy qualifying at the moment. There's still a few cars to come. Philip Brecher and Philip Engman still going to come across the line as well. Engman's coming up to the line now. He was up on the time in 7th place. They will shoot up to 6th place, overtaking Jordan Daly as well, as we still on board with the Bentley. I think one of the last cars to come across.
Well, did they gain? They are gaining. They're off the final corner. That's good. They gave up middle of the corner speed for exit, but it's probably not going to be enough. But is it enough for P2? I don't know. It probably will be second row, and it is the front row as they just get there. It's a 46.180 as they leg it out to the line. Qualifying confirmed for the final round. Let's take a look at the results. Little surprise there. De Keyser for the number 2 Vlaanderen team, taking all 3 quickest sectors in that Aston en route to pole. That's a silver on overall pole. Pat on the back for that team there. The 796, Philippe Brecha behind the wheel. That RCI car, P2, they'll start on the second row of the grid. You've nailed it 2 for 2 tonight already, Ted. You've said that the track was improving, and it absolutely did by a second and a half. You said that you reckoned that the Bentley could do some damage or should be up there, and it is. So you're 2 for 2. João Manso in the second row in the 707 with Van der Kolen in the 475. The list goes on. Pasqui, the car that surprised us all, that 888 getting up there. Philip Ingman for nearly on pace in 6. Jordan Daly for RCI. Dixon Dauber, Dubiel, the top 10. You can see the balance of performance on the right-hand side of the screen, and if I'm not very much mistaken, the BOP is, of course, provided by LFM. And here, of course, are your AM cars for the day. Nice to see everybody in chat cheering on their various teams. We will have a sort of a track activity intermission. We'll have a broadcast intermission for the resetting of the race server, because you have unlimited tires in qualifying, which effectively means you have unlimited runs. In the race, they will only have 4 sets of tires today. Certain settings, certain boxes have to be ticked. I'm just reading some streaming statistics from the background, and it's very funny, a peek behind the curtain for all of you watching. It's telling me that I'm broadcasting at 20,000 kilobits a second. That's not happening because I'm monitoring the actual stream, and it's at a normal amount. I don't know what's going on with the broadcasting software, but it is freaking out. Hopefully the drivers aren't. Love from Daniel Crinzen for the 707. Soren Racing is in chat as well. Mike Redford's joined us. The Fat Stig cheering on Grim. Caleb Kerrigan cheering on everybody. Curb Enthusiasm A little bit of sarcasm earlier on. Pleasant weather today. Well, yeah. In each life, a little rain must fall.
About time, really. We need some rain in RCI. We weren't called Rain. Was it Rain Club International for no reason?
Well, it often is. And today, what's weird in this championship is it's ended up not being that for a lot of the time. Even when, yourself included, you've tried to make it rain a
So
bit
hard.
more, and it hasn't done.
Yes, it's very weird. You try and make something happen, and it doesn't happen, and then you question why it doesn't happen, and everything looks like it should happen. So now I've doubly made sure that it will happen.
Hey, sometimes, all right, let this be a lesson
At
to
Planet
everybody at
Fitness.
home. Sometimes you've just got to go with it. You've just got to do it. And the weather in ACC is different because it doesn't necessarily allow you to plan. It's not like other sims where you can say, I want it to rain at exactly this time. It's not how ACC works. It's never worked that way. It's always been a sliding scale of probability and possibility, not certainty. And that is the most incredible thing of all. We'll show you, Ted, if you're ready, the standings for split number one, if you'd like to see them. Starting off with Pro.
Well, here we are with the Pro standings after round 4. We've got the 769 RCI Esports Blue on top with 274 points, followed by nearly on pace in second with 231. Following them in third in the Ferrari is Forza Italia.ple Racing with 202 points. Then we've got RCI Esports Yellow in fourth. In the McLaren, 182 points, followed by two more McLarens, SPH E Motorsport and Team Monkey Racing, 161 and 139 points each. We've got RPMS in seventh with 123, followed by Stone Cold Racing.
Say it right.
106. How do I say it, Jesse?
Well, that's Stone Cold Racing in a 316 BMW.
With 116 points, followed by them in ninth place is Swiss RC, 115, only 1 point different. So there's a race there today. In 10th, got Rebound Racing Seniors, 103 points. 11th, we have Trywall Sim Racing, 96 points. RCI Esports Red in 12th with 81. U Amateurs X QVR with 49 points in 13th, and everyone with a dash has signed out of the championship. On to Silvers. Would you like to take Silvers away, Jesse, or would you like
Nope.
to carry on?
No, I
I'll
would
carry
not.
on then. Dutch Sim Racing team on top with 242 points. That's a lot of points compared to second place Rebound Racing Juniors, 178. That's a massive gap between them. Over just under 70 points between. In third is Onid Esports with 167, followed by 46. Drop the Hammer Racing, 165 points for them. Fifth place is the number 2 ACC Valandria Aston Martin with 151 points. Followed by them is Sim Racing Team with 144 points. In sixth, seventh place is Wheelbarrow Racing Team, 140. Eighth place is Swiss RC, the other Swiss RC car in the Lamborghini, with 130 points. In ninth with 99 points is Steady Start Racing, and in 10th is LHR Left Hand Racing with 96 points. On to our next page. We've got 3 more cars. 11th is DGSR Team 190 with 90 points. E1 Simsport in 11th with 12th with 71 points. Wolfpack Racing Endurance with 59 in 13th, and again, everyone else with the dash has signed out of the championship.
Well, that's just split one. Of course, we have 2 different splits for you today, and give me a moment and we'll show you, we will certainly try to show you anyway, the split 2 championship points. Ted, before we get to that point, I'm curious, what are some things that you're looking for in today's race, considering it's going to be, or at least it appears like it's going to be, mixed conditions out there? It's a 6-hour race. They got 4 tire sets. What's Ted Edwards looking out for?
Uh, I just want mixed weather, Jesse. I just want some mixed weather. I want people to not worry too much about having to drive steady with the slicks. But then, you know, I'm not too sure. I just want some good racing, Jesse. I want people to drive cleanly, have some nice overtakes, maybe have some nice sends in there as well. We like to see the odd send, especially into the chicane or through
You
aqua.
keep using that word we. Keep using that word we. Yeah, you keep using that. Yeah.
Me.
Oh yeah, you.
M-E.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I think you'll get all of your wishes today. I don't think we're under any worry that we won't. Moving on to the Split 2 Championship. Keep in mind, 4 different championships to be decided here today, including this, the Split 2 Silver Championship. Alpha Sim Sport leads them 211 points over Prime Motorsport 206. Flying Hellfish winging it in the 686 has 170 points. Goat Racing smooth as butter on 165 in a close battle with Scuderia Pepperoni with 160 points. Kaiju Racing in 6th place, that 202 Nissan GTR, your winner from the 24-hour, 149 points, finds themselves in the fight. SRT, Maca, and Ches, 143 points. Not Sheep Racing 2024 in the 999, 116, 3 points in front of Owned Racing. Simhound Rookies in 9th. Team Monkey Racing rounds out the top 10 with 102 points. Wheelie Slow Racing in number 31, that Audi, it's got 95 points in 11th place. HWT is tied with Owned Racing in 12th. Team Global Enduro on 91. Dylan 48 Esports Purple with 50. RK9 Motorsports Arcanine. I love the Pokemon references here. 46 championship points in 16. Sork Hub Blue Shark E-Racing on 29. Wolfpack Racing on 28. Everyone else in the Split 2 Silver Championship has retired. Of course, we have the AM Championship as well. SRT, Scuderia Alta Latinza, 201 points. Goat Racing, Rough as Sandpaper. Doesn't sound very pleasant, but it's very pleasantly 2 points behind SRT for the championship and AM coming into the final round. Scuderia Osara, the German team with 189 points. RK9 Motorsports Growlith on 157 in 4th. R4F, the Dutch team, in 5th with 102. National League Racing on 99 and 6th. Scuderia Pepperoni Margarita on 95. Beyond Obsidian Motorsports on 90. Scuderia Pepperoni Diavola on 89 points. I wanted to make sure I didn't mispronounce that into something less nice. 10th place, Garage 42. Doesn't have has a disappointing 40 points. If you had 2 more points, lads, that would have been absolutely epic. You'd have had to retire from the championship as well. Everybody else in the AM class has retired from the series. So many storylines, so many championships going on. Looks like in Split 1 Silver that it might all be settled already, though. Of course, we're just preparing to get back into the racing action. And we will bring you live pictures from the racetrack when they grid up. The teams will be given a moment to get back in, strap their drivers back into their cars, and they will be sitting on the grid for the start of the race. Cale Sundstrom's joined us, cheering on the 899. Matthew Malcolm has joined us, cheering on the 999. You love to see it. We certainly do. We love to see all the different teams that are showing up and supporting their teammates, their friends. Seen a lot of support for loved ones. Ted Edwards has been the recipient of that. His partner comes into chat from time to time to cheer him on. Racing, of course, has traditionally been a family affair.
Yeah, she comes and cheers me on when I don't crash, though.
She gives you a lot of stick when you do, though, doesn't she? She brings it up.
She does.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is fair. I should not crash.
Mm.
She's
not wrong, yeah. Smart lady.
She's not right. It's not because I'm staff member or anything. It's just, I should just not crash.
Yeah, she doesn't care about that. What she cares about is that you're embarrassing the family.
True.
Yeah.
Well, cars are now on formation. And everyone is in the right position, Jesse. I've done something right today. That's me done,
right.
I retire.
Well, of course, Ted, not unusual for him to do double duty, but in the fashion that you're doing it today, very hectic. He's up here with me in the box. He's also in control of making sure that everything race-wise is copacetic and well done on your duties there. You seem to have got that done. We'll bring you live pictures in just a moment. You know, Ted, Katrina gives you grief for crashing. I get given grief for not being interesting. So
you were interesting.
I'm not when I don't bring fun facts. I was on an RCI. I was on an SRO broadcast, and my one was like, your partner that you were doing it with, they had like facts, and they seemed really cool. What happened to you?
Oh dear.
I was like, I know about race cars. I don't know about particular Douglas firs that exist at racetracks, but my expertise is elsewhere, and I'll show you what my expertise is right now. It's almost like movie magic. Welcome, everybody. We're back. The formation lap underway. Just a few moments before we get going here. Would appear as if drivers are allowed, of course, to change driver. And I believe that has happened for several of the teams. Not uncommon. I believe Bram Departey is in the car. Philippe Boreches appears to be still in the 769. Does Vlanderen lead this thing throughout, or is that just them having qualifying pace versus race pace? What do you think we're going to see here on this start?
That's the thing, isn't it? Because obviously, one driver can be better at qualifying and the other could be better at race. I used to be like that. I used to be really bad at qualifying and just used to be okay at keeping it going in the race. So yeah, it's one of those. We just have to wait and see, Jesse, see what the it is. But the rain has got less. It is looks like the weather's carried on for qualifying, Jesse. It is a damp track instead of a wet track. Rain is decreasing in 10 but getting heavier in 30. So this is what I wanted to see. With the drivers, just have to wait and see how the pace goes. One might be better on wets, one might be better on the dries. But just have to see how these Aston Martins get off the grid. As we're coming down the grid boxes now, obviously this is a rolling start. You see the lights there are on red, they'll be going green in just a second, and we'll be getting going for a 6 hours race. What?
Remember, this is Imola. They have to go all the way around the corner before this thing goes green. This is going to be a long time.
Why the lights?
Don't ask questions you don't know the answer to, but we are green, and it's a huge getaway for Breccia. It almost looks like Bram was caught sleeping there on the start a little bit, almost got jumped by João Manso and a couple of other cars. Vanderkolen in the background as well, as they're going to go 2 by 2, too wide through here. Vanderkolen trying to take that spot away from Manso. He's going to be around the outside. That usually is the most advantageous spot. They're still side by side. They get it sorted out. Looks like Manso makes another move and then falls back in line. Behind them, still 2 by 2 with the nearly on pace car. It's going to be stuck on the outside for the time being. A pretty clean getaway, all things considered.
Sure was. I think only a couple of cars were yellow flagged in the background towards the back of the grid. So it's not too bad so far, but we still got the chicane to go. Aquaman O'Reilly first, then the chicane, and then down through the last 2 corners. So anything can happen. It's still a bit feisty in the background. Still some going too wide through the corner at the back there. Everyone's filtering out single file down into Aqua. Not really a place you want to overtake if you can't, if you can help it. You want to get the better run up here for the chicane. And it's the same again with the chicane. You don't really want to be trying to go side by side with someone into here, because these curbs are brutal if you take them wrong. As you see in the background, too wide into the chicane. Porsche on Lamborghini, still going too wide, still making it work, and the Lamborghini gets out ahead, and the Audi of the Taiwan of Williso Racing looks like they're going to be taking the place from the 17 as well.
Piotr Dominicus said, yoink, I'll have that from you right there, and gets it done. All the Porsche coming back down in there. Manders trying to make it work in the number 17, and he will get to the inside. Scared Piotr out a little bit, though it's a little bit more serious than that. Contact, more spots lost. The BMW of Schneider's going to come through in the 686 as lap 1 is complete, and albeit most of the cars still vaguely where they started. Dark Pingu, by the way, has pointed out that nope, that's just how the Aston starts. It doesn't get as good as launch, according to Dark Pingu, with some of the other cars. I was completely unaware of that, if that is true. So there you go. The Stig cheering on the RPMS guys. Martin Lawrence cheering on the RCI guys. We love to see it. Mike Redford pleading with the 707 to slow down.
It's the HMS RCI because they're in the boats.
His Majesty's ship.
Well, yes.
I don't see any oars on that ship, but they are absolutely paddling.
They'll be out in when the rain gets heavy. If it does get heavy, I've got my fingers and I've got my toes crossed, Jesse, for some heavy rain later on in the race. But for the time being, it looks like people. The 145, as we see there, the BMWs on dry tyres. As you can see, when we got close there, you see the yellow wool spinning around the edge of the tyre.
If
it's blank, then it's wet. Hopefully, it doesn't go too fast, but you can just
Those
see
are
there.
Definitely dries. You're absolutely correct.
It doesn't look too unmanageable right now. It looks like they're handling it very well. Obviously, track is damp, so it's on the cusp of the crossover between wets and dries. I think the wets probably be a bit better, but they'll be getting so hot. There's not enough standing water on the track to cool them off on the straight, so it's going to be interesting to see what the people are on. There you go, the 900 of Onid Esports car is on dries as well.
Yeah, Miles Dixon just drove around Philip Ingman, and I think Ingman just decided, it's not worth it, especially if they're on a different strategy than me, to go out there. And of course, anybody on dries, this is a weird time for them. They've elected to, because the track is damp, put on dries and try to make some hay, as it were, while they can. But they're going to have to come in, I would say, before the stint is over, and take those tires off, because the weather is going to get worse. It's light rain now. It's going to be increasing into some light medium rain, Les Stevenson. We are going to get into that situation here today, rather unfortunately, and that is probably going to make the track completely wet, and that should I'll say, force the cars that have elected dry tires down the pit lane early. Now, do they probably care about that? I don't know. They might be able to make that work strategy-wise, but I don't know. It's a gamble early in a race, which is probably where you should be gambling, is early on, but I don't know if I would have taken that bet. I'd have probably put the wets on.
Well, just looking at the number 2 car in second place, they're on wet. As you see, the tyre will...
No,
they're on dry.
They are... Oh, wait, hold on a minute. I want to do some fact-finding here. They're all on dries.
It's okay. It's on my side. Okay. That number 2 car for me is on wets, Jesse. So,
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Ted. Let's play the game. Your technology is no different than my technology. Just because I'm streaming the thing doesn't mean that I get preferential treatment. Who's right?
Thing is, who is right? Well, there you go.
Well, I'll tell you who's right. Philippe Breccia is absolutely right. Departier is also correct, because they have yarded the rest of the field. A yard is like 3 feet, by the way. Van der Kolen up into third. Xiao Manso is fourth. And Dixon is your top 5 right now, as everybody continues to squabble out there over the minor position. Speaking of, Nick Manders continuing to fight this group. So does Piotr Dominicus. Schneider as well, as this group, who have been together since lap 1, continue to swap these spots back and forth.
of people on my side, Jesse, are on wet tyres. So
Yeah.
they're on intermediates. There we go. How's that?
No,
That works,
they're
right?
no, they're not. We don't have intermediates at ACC. The GT World Challenge does not have inters. We don't have them. That is a funny joke, but I don't want to mislead the people at home and think that they have inters. They don't. What we can confirm through Pingu is that DSRT, the Dutch sim racing team, are in fact on wet tires. So if you could find the Dutch racing team and confirm to me what they're on yours, says, oh, cars are peeling off of the pit lane. That to me seems to confirm that there are dry tires, and maybe some people are bailing on this strategy. So, one of those situations, right? Isn't it? Where, by the way, that was Virtual, who went down the pit lane to the attention of their team.
For me, they're on wets. So I think everyone on my side's on full wets and everyone on your side's on full dries. So we I think we just have to wait until pit stops.
Well, hold on. Let's see.
And it should reset.
Oh dear. Yeah, that might be what's happening here. Yeah. But you know what I think it is? Because of how I joined and when I joined, I think I joined after the majority of the field had already made their tire selection.
That could be a thing. Yeah, I was in it from the start. Obviously, I would be from putting the server up.
So, what you're seeing on the sidewalls of these race cars is not valid until they stop. It will be fixed when they stop at some point because it will sync. It will refresh. This is a more elaborate version of the damage bug that we have where it desyncs. It could be a split strategy even still. So we will see. Cliff Bulke has joined us, cheering on ACC Vlaanderen, as you would expect. Les Stevenson has said that the next time that they run the boat, they're going to call it the HMS Roker Poker. I'm not going to explain any further. Can we get a break in the 999? Well, apparently not for Mike Redford. It has been maybe a bit of a frustrating one for them. The good news is, whatever happened to the 999, that did not show up in my incident report, which usually tells me that it wasn't that bad. Could be wrong. If Mike Redford would like to further confirm what's going on with the 999, because they're certainly going around the track and they certainly have not shown up in an incident report thus far.
So the car that just pitted, the 86, on my side is now on dry tyres coming out of pit lane. They are 1 minute 27 in the pit lane, so for me it is dry tyres. For Jesse Lee it's dry tyres.
Yep. So
we just have to wait until everyone does their first pit stop, which shouldn't be too long.
By the way, I hate what you did. I hate when people do that. What you did earlier.
What did I do?
You immediately doubted yourself and assumed that you were incorrect. I hate that. And I knew immediately. I was like, I probably screwed this up. I just assumed. Well, I think we both assumed that we were wrong, but yeah, it certainly was on my end. So you have the only accurate representation of the tire choices of these cars. João Manso has continued to hound the cars in front and be hounded by the car behind in a sandwich. Vanderkola in front, Dixon behind. Dixon's going to sweep out around, and it's going to be a run down into turn number 2. Of course, the dogleg counts as turn 1. Could this be a 2-for-1? No, it's not. Dead beside each other is Miles Dixon for Own It Esports. Contact, was it, between the two of them? A little slide for Zhao in the 707. And
it's not popped up.
Well, I was going to say, was it contact? Let's go to the helicopter.
I wonder if they just tried to keep to their line, the Porsche, and maybe call the... Oh, it was. It's full-on contact.
Sure was. Full-on contact, not registered by the contact report that we have, but we caught it live on camera. That's That definitely did happen between the two of them. The position changed. Miles Dixon up into P4 for Own It Esports. P4 overall, P3 of course in class.
Yeah, and the 707 drops way back down into 10th place from 5th place. So yeah, that's very unfortunate, but you know, still 5 hours and 48 minutes left of the race to go. So
look how far Zhao went.
Change.
Look at this.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It just went so far back.
It was not great for RPMS Simspray. It didn't look that bad on camera. I mean, it obviously was contact, but it didn't look that bad. But whenever nobody gets spread apart really on the start of these races, there's no bottleneck. You make one little mistake and you lose, and there's a car off in the road there, and they're way off. Is that
one of Swiss RC cars?
Is it?
Yeah, it should be. It's the.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the 888, right?
It was. You're absolutely right. It's Anthony Loudit for Swiss RC. Now, I'm going to cue a long one because I would like to know what happened to that car.
It's going into the chicane. Yeah. Let's see. Nothing wrong here.
That was
Can't remember where we saw them on track. Actually,
it was in turn 18 and 19. So right here, after this corner, they were on the infield.
Looks fine. Looks fine. Doesn't touch the curbs on the braking.
Oh, a little too much.
Curb on exit, yep. Low TC, maybe dry tyres, and getting onto the wet curb just slips it around a little bit, which is not what you want, but these happen. There have been some penalties come through, I did notice, but we'll hold off for a second, just in case there's more come through. But yeah, very interesting. The thing is, even with wet tyres, Jesse, you can still spin up the rears even on like an entry curve or the apex curve on a corner. You just get your foot down too early or too much. Oh, dearie me!
That is big damage there.
I wonder if that was done by an exit curb at some point in the lap, but that's a lot of damage. They drove it back to the pits by what I saw coming back from the replay cam. Let's have a look here. Going in to this left hand. Oh, she turns in on the Ferrari and goes straight. Oh, Ferrari goes left, goes wide.
That did not cause that amount of front damage, or at least it shouldn't have caused that amount of front damage to that car. You would hope at the very least. Interesting incident here between Olivier Kierton and the 767.
Oh,
just slid right in there and synchronized spinning.
And that's not where you want to be sat. But at least they've got to take the inside for
I call that
corner.
The Lewis Hamilton position.
Ah.
Yeah. Christian Benz has had an incident of some sort here. This, I believe, is coming up to the chicane.
Yeah, it's with the Nissan of the 202 Kaiju racing car. Oh, hello. Oh, we're going for a 360.
I was incorrect. But Kaiju spinning around. A lot of cars losing grip right now and spinning it around. All those incidents, I think, were grip related that we just saw.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. Well, no more reports have come through just yet, so for lap 1, turn 1, involving the 678, 145 and the 999, 20 seconds for the 678, too close to the 145 for race start, causing a collision.
Well, hold on, let's see if we got a replay of that. No, this is, I think, after the fact. This is the accordion effect into the chicane.
3 wide through the chicane, Jesse. That's not.
No, it's not ideal, but they survived. They made it work.
They did. We've got a lap 1, turn 7, involving the 202 and 33 racing incident, minor contact. So I wonder what happened at lap 1, turn 1, because I did see yellow flags being shown. But obviously we didn't. We were looking at the front end of the grid.
Kaiju car off the racetrack. There just a little bit. Going all the way back to lap 1.
Yeah, it was lap 1, turn 7. That was
Trying to
the.
determine exactly what happened. Here's Davey Hill and Benjamin Heilman. This is their lap 1 incident.
Bonk.
It was
Yeah,
definitely
just,
a bonk. Nothing too crazy there. And then we have the 767 and the 145 on lap 1.
Oh, hello.
Leon Randall. So something already happened at that point.
Oh. Just a little shoulder barge and door to door.
We're going to keep working our way back in time here. Maybe we'll get to show you exactly what went down at the back of the pack on lap number 1.
So this looks like it.
Yep,
oh,
that did it.
Go.
Yep, that was it.
That was it.
I think we found it.
I think we did, Jesse. That poor 145 couldn't react to
a zero goat got
being
a piece
hit
of
in the
this.
rear. Yeah. It's just.
Yep, just got bonked in the back while the cars in the background were having an incident. The 145 has been through it thus far. That explains the damage on the nose of that 145 of Jason Warner's car from very early on. They would have got that right there. We didn't see that at the back of the pack. But let's show you the front of the pack. Felipe Breccia in RCI Esports Blue, leading the way in His Majesty's ship, otherwise known as the Boatley.
Yes, one of 2 Boatleys out on track today. One in 1st and one in 8th place, doing pretty okay for a Bentley. Followed by the number 2, who's leading split 1 silver. Says a second behind, but that'll probably change over the next time. And like I said, they look quite close here, Jesse. So, but they're pulling a massive gap on 3rd place by 5 seconds for 2nd place and 6 seconds for 1st place. So it's gap's increasing, but rain is going to increase in the next 10 as well. So I'm expecting to see in the next half an hour that track state to go from damp to wet, and strategy is going to fluctuate, and we'll see how each car and each driver does in the rain compared to now. And with the first pit stop, we'll see if they switch driver. Obviously, if it's raining and if you're on wets, you're not using one of your tyre sets. They only have. Oh! That was a very well avoided.
Something happened to Nico Kumpu there.
Nico Kumpu up in 9th place at the time.
He gets rear-ended. Yeah, he gets rear-ended. Oh, man. That was bad, but that could have been a lot worse.
The 316 of Hill, Davey Hill, it hits the back of the 777 of Kumpu, and then while trying to save the car, the Mercedes tags the 796 of Benjamin Heilman. Only a little one in the door, so it shouldn't be any split or diffuser damage from the cars. As Dominicus looks like they just let through the 686. Maybe struggling with tyres at this moment in time. Yeah, as I was saying, they got four slick tyres for the whole race. But with the rain, they have unlimited wets, so it's probably helping them now. The 767 is turned around in the last corner. That is Randall in the Ferrari. I'm going to say another exit curb wheel spin.
Is that you locking that in?
I'm locking that in.
Well, you may do if I can find them. I would like to confirm that.
34.
All right. Well, I could go all the way back, but I won't because that would just be a boring replay. But I'm gonna agree with you and say that that's exactly what happened. What I was confused about was this. I was looking for the 767. The 678 showed up, and this happened at the same time.
I'm coming down into T2. Oh, I thought it was T1 all the time, but straight onto the curb there. Got it stopped though, Jesse. That was
Yeah,
very
just
well handled.
as the British would say, just about.
That was, yeah, that could have lost them a lot more time if they got into that gravel. But no, very well held by the Ferrari driver there. It seems like people are starting to just chill out a little bit. 22 minutes into 22 minutes into the race. It doesn't feel like 22 minutes, Jesse. It feels like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a hectic start. A lot of the teams have, now made some mistakes and there's some gaps, kind of, but the majority have not. And other than the one incident right at the back of the field, they all sort of sorted it out amongst themselves. So that makes it feel like there's a lot that has happened, and there has been a lot that's happened. There's been a lot of incidental contact. There's been a lot of passing into turn 2, which is the prime spot to get it done. The steady start racing car of Olivier Curtin trying to think about making a pass here on the 117. Can't get it done. The 117 runs off the racetrack. Is going to get it done. That's a free overtake for steady start racing.
Sure is, just, I'm just remembering the 86 down to 37th place. They pitted for dries. Now, I'm not sure if they were on wets. Obviously, we're not too sure, but if they were on wets, I'm gonna guess they switched to dries because their wets were too overpressured, and obviously the track state being damp, they didn't think they could just lower the pressures on the wets and they'll be fine. They were probably just overheating so much, but they obviously just chose the wrong tyre, expecting it to get wetter quicker. But this is the thing, when you're sat on the grid, it may look wet, and there's no dry line until the cars get running. Obviously, when you're a few laps into the race, then you start noticing your wet tyres are just going through the roof, and you can't cool them down. There's no wet patches to cool them down. So, but now they have to give way blue flags to the front runners because they're so far back after doing the pit stop. So it is a shame. Go on.
I've driven on balloons for tires. You've driven on balloons for tires. Explain to the people at home what that feels like from a grip perspective.
So ballooned tires are fine if they're not overheating, but once they're overheating and they're ballooned, you're just driving. It feels like you're driving on ice. It is probably one of the worst things you could be doing, and you have a risk of puncturing your wet tires as well. You can puncture them on the curbs if you hit the curb too hard, or you grind it on the inside of some of the sharp curbs. So it is difficult, and I do understand why they pitted for dries, because obviously it would be the better tyre for this stage in the race. But it's just a real big shame, because then they've got to pit again. Oh dearie me, Jesse, we caught that live.
Yeah, a bunch of cars under a blanket. They were racing each other incredibly hard. It was only a matter of time before it kicked off. Piotr Dominicus is going to come up from that and get a spot off of all of that melee, but let's show you exactly what happened here.
Goat on the inside, the 666 on the outside. Goat taps the Aston Martin, then taps Goat back and collects the Swiss RC Lamborghini as well. So
chaos.
Yeah, so looks like it was the Lexus's fault for not giving enough room. You see the Aston Martin's way out on the curb, probably just in the track limits, because that is, Imola is a stickler for the track limits, and one pixel, if you like, out, 1 mil, and track limit, and obviously you only get 3, 4, 4, and it is a drive-through. So yes, so close to getting a track limit. Not got any space to go off track anymore, and Lexus just going wide, probably understeered up into the rear end and caused a 2-car crash, which is very unfortunate.
3-car crash, in fact.
3-car, yes, because there was 3 involved. 2-car span out, should I say?
Yeah, 2-car span. 1 car was absolute collateral in that, was minding their own business. To be fair, I think the majority of them were minding their own business before that kicked off. It just goes to show you the grip is at a premium, and you start to slide and you're going to go around. It's not so bad, to explain to the folks at home, it's not so bad when it's all dry. It's not so bad when it's all wet. What is bad is when it's both.
Yeah, Yeah, it's pretty difficult. Just looking at Kumpu's dash there in ACC, we can see traction controls and ABSs, unlike iRacing, which is a bit annoying. But here we can see the yellow box on the dash next to. So you got the number 1 in the middle, which is that gear, big number. Now it's gone to 2. On the right hand side of that, you've got 3 boxes: yellow, blue, and red. The yellow one, I believe, is ABS. The blue one is TC, so they're on TC3. ABS is on 1, so ABS, you know, they feel like their braking's okay for ABS 1, but TC is on 3 in the back.
Oh, it's going to be a crash, but they somehow just about survived. Carlos Kalanian is going to take the number 30, and he's going to get a 2 for 1. That's a buy one, get one free. That's a BOGO.
It is. Well, I believe it's a BOGO, but that's...
You did what to me? Excuse me? What'd you... What did you just call me on my Christian Minecraft
You buy
channel?
one and you get one free.
That's BOGO.
But no, because there's an F on the end. Free. Buy one, you get one free. BOGO.
Well, in America, it's called buy one, get one. You don't...
Well... Anyway.
Saying that you're going to get one is... this. You don't have to add the... I'll give you an English lesson later. I understand it's not your first language.
Sure. Well, the 723 just holds it coming out the last corner, and unfortunately for Kumpu, just a little bit of a front tap on the rear end of the McLaren. It's very close indeed, and I'm pretty sure there was some more that Mercedes could have done to avoid that, but these things do happen. And I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, we were on about the TC3. In the dry, I think it's TC1, but yeah, just looking at the weather now, Jesse, gets heavy in 10, less in 30 again. So this rain is up and down today. So I think it will still be wet running, but it's gonna impact of how they look after the wet tyres. Jesus, the number 17 Olive Racing Steam Hound rookies are going a little bit sideways.
I'm not laughing at Owned. I'm laughing at Swingley and chat saying, I better get one when I buy one. Oh my goodness.
He's got a point.
It's like that joke, road works ahead. I sure hope it does. I do.
Yes.
I do love that. Nick Manders has had a lap. It's been a lap that maybe they don't want me to show you, but I'm going to anyway because there's so many things that happened to Nick Manders on this lap. Let's go back to this. Contact down into, what do you reckon that is? Turns 2 and 3, right? So there was contact there. And you'll notice they're not around that Dayglow car anymore. Oh my goodness. And it's continued as we come back to the live. Nick Manders has been off of the racetrack. The 444 in front of...
hello.
The 444 has been off as well. We'll get to them in a moment to see exactly what's happened there.
They've got to be on dry tyres, Jesse.
Erskine has had... Yeah, Erskable's had an off. Let's see if we can catch that.
So it'll be on the exit. Yep.
So how do they end up on the other side of the racetrack then?
Oh, they're gonna spin it round right into the racing line. There we go. That, and then we saw them drive. And yeah, that's where we caught them then. It's got to be dry tyres, Jesse. Just thinking, we did see the weather widget say it will get heavier in 10, and it did change to medium rain, and it's medium rain in 10, so it is getting heavier. It doesn't look like it, but you can see now on the track there is more wet patches on the sides from the racing line. So as soon as you step off the racing line on those dries, they must be cold. They must be cooling down quite a lot. As you can see there, look, it's very well. I say very wet. It's more wet than it was at the start of the race, just over half an hour ago. So whoever was running on dry tyres are probably thinking about changing to wet soon. Try and get some pace back in this race. But 2 Porsches, Jesse, spinning. It's a thing we've seen a few times this race.
Yeah, don't let the Atlanta Falcons blowing a 35-point lead in the fourth quarter or a 28-point lead in the fourth quarter confuse you. We're going back to the 17 because after Manders had that initial incident, they had another incident.
Oh, bonk.
Yep.
They're just trading paint.
Yeah. What if I told you there was a third incident? Oh, I clicked the button too soon, but here's a third incident.
I'd be interested.
And this, I think, is the biggie. No?
It's the second to last corner down into the last corner.
No, that wasn't that big after all.
No.
But that was a lap fighting the same car. That's what it's like out there on the racetrack right now for some of the competitors. Close quarters racing. They're getting their elbows out here in the finale.
Sure are, and we've got some more incidents, penalties come through, should I say. We carry on lap 1, turn 18, involving the 31 and the 17. 5 seconds for the 17, avoidable contact, overtake with contact. Following that, we got lap 1, turn 18, involving the 59 and the 444 racing incident. Here's that contact with which was the 5 seconds added. No.
I mean,
maybe
it definitely said there was contact on the incident tool. So we'll take their word for it.
We got lap 4, turn 1 and turn 2 involving the 796 and the 777. 5 seconds for car 777. Avoidable contact, overtake with contact. And here it is. Benjamin Heilman in the car behind, and in front is the 777 Nico Kumpu. In that McLaren, the white McLaren. I was
wondering why Kumpu was okay. So I think
Are we broken today, Jesse?
I think the timing's off is what's going on. I think we've seen the lead up to an incident, but not the actual incident. Is what's going on here.
Well, trust us.
Yeah.
Our stewards, it is live stewarded.
Yep.
So they can see everything that is happening. We're stuck in between a parallel universe is what happened.
No.
Time is just off that little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Do you remember in Back to the Future where Doc Brown sends Einstein a minute into the future? We're doing that, but 15 seconds in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's actually part of the film, right? Because Marty comes back right before the plot spoiler happens. And
spoilers?
I didn't say it, right? So it's fine. Also, the movie came out before any of us were born.
I mean, true.
If you haven't seen it, what are you doing with this? Stephen Wall is having a whale of a fight with not Nico Kumpu, that's Carlos Colladian, in fact, that he's having a fight for. And you'll notice why I was getting those two confused, because they're running very almost identical cars, are Colladian and Kumpu being on the same team. You would imagine that, but Stephen Wall was fighting Nico Kumpu, now fighting Carlos Colladian. This fight's continued to the outside again, shading him off to the far side of the racetrack. Colladian will win again, and if Carlos plays his cards right, he can help his teammate Nico out here. Nico has their hands full. Marco Badowski's back there for Team Monkey Racing, trying to make it a 3-4-way fight now.
Yeah, it's going to be a fight to keep your eyes on. Hello, 777 tags the 45 in the background, Jesse. On the exit again. TC turned it off and span it around, just like they do in Formula 1.
All right, let's see if it's caught its breath and it's actually going to show us an incident.
There you go, exit cut too hot in.
Badowski.
I am wondering if the 777 just kept their foot in there, because the stewards will look at that.
Are you wondering that?
Well, I'm thinking that.
You're wondering that?
I'm thinking you're just going to boot it out of the corner. Oh, right, revs come down. Revs do come down, so they weren't. Ignore the rear view mirror.
Yeah, the rear view mirror is live. It's not a replay of the rear view mirrors at all. What you were watching is this fight between Piotr Dominicus and Kumpu. So there you have it, all kicking off. It's kicking off up here for 6th place as well. João Manso assaulting Adam Dubiel for that position. The RPMS Sim Sport car down the inside of the Forza Italia Ferrari, and sign seal delivered. Manso up to P6 again.
Well, there's 3 more incidents that did not get reeled off, because a lot of things happened in the last 10 minutes. Lap 8, turn 10 involving the 34 and the 48. NFA 48 rejoined safely. On laps 8, turn 7 involving the 767 and the 33. 20 seconds for car 33. Takeout position unable to be returned. Then we got lap 12, turn 1 involving the 678 and the 34. Racing incident. 34 didn't turn in for the corner, causing avoidable contact.
Oh, contact there between Dubil and Manso. Dubil takes the spot back, but with contact. He's going to run off the track in Aqua Minerale. That's going to give the spot back. Was that purposeful by Adam there, I wonder, after feeling that that was a little too elbows out for them? I don't know. But one way or another, Manso back out in front. Miles Dixon. Ooh, Miles Dixon in the 900 has the quickest lap of the race right now. The Owned Esport number 900, the quickest car on the racetrack. Miles, of course, paired with, I think, Ben Brown and Matt Goddard Scott, I think, are his teammates this week. So that car, the quickest on the racetrack. How important will that be as we continue to go down this rainy race here at Imola? That could be mega.
Well, it is wet now. You can see puddles are visibly forming. There is reflections on the track from the water. It is medium rain and it's getting heavier in 10 minutes, but in 30 it's getting lower. You talk about the 900. We commentating cursed these cars today, Jesse.
Yeah.
The 900 goes off track.
Every time we go to a car, they crash. Yeah, I don't know if you at home have noticed that, but literally every time we go to a car, whether we talk about them or not, they're in an incident. Miles Dixon has just run off the racetrack there. If you're wondering what their quick lap is, it's a 46.492. The next quickest car on track is the leader, Felipe Breccia. Breccia did a 46.537. So Miles Dixon moderately quicker there, but timing and scoring doesn't care if you're moderately anything. The quickest lap, fastest lap of the race has gone to Onan.
I'm just wondering, I think a lot of cars are on wets, Jesse, so maybe the Porsches we saw were just on wets and they were just overheating, because no one's coming for wet tires from dries, apart from one car we did see. Looks like some team orders in play here, Jesse.
I definitely think Martin Grady let Benjamin Heilman through. I think Tidge saw him coming and did not want to be directly in front of them. Of course, Benjamin Heilman was, I think, sent back in the field just a little bit. Grady's running his own race. The Tidge, the most handsome man in a blonde wig I've ever seen in my life. Would marry, 10 out of 10. Thoughts on that, Ted?
Agreed.
Okay. I thought you weren't going to comment at all. To be fair, I thought you were going to I have no idea what this man's talking about.
I've seen that.
Oh, yeah, well, handsome fella. Lucky woman, his partner. 777 and the 17 having additional contact here. Nico Kumpu, and oh my goodness,
Oh,
17
my God.
I'd call that a little deep.
Yes. Yeah, that was a send that did not work.
Correct.
So, I'm so confused with tire straps. So,
Okay.
a lot of cars seem like they're slipping, Jesse. As you see from the 777 on the exit there of the last corner, did not get the rear traction they wanted. Now on wets, they'll probably be okay, but I can't see them still running on dries. Not in this wet. It'll be so cold that there is a door bang for you of the 777 and the 444 coming together in T2, sorry, T2 to T3. Lexus behind trying to get past. They're sliding as well. So, if you're still on dry tyre, I don't see it being physically possible to keep running on dry tyres, because they'll be so cold, they'll be so flat, if you like, as well. They're so under pressured. But it looks like all the symptoms of them sliding equate to them even having really low pressure wets, and I don't think they'll be cold.
Oh!
As the 31's round.
That had to have been contact. There is no way that just randomly happened there. And Piotr Dominicus will get back under control, but after losing a ton of time and space, and they are in the middle of a hornet's nest now in Aqua Minerale this time through. They're going to have to be very careful as the traffic will try and pick their way through. But a scary moment there, and we caught the tail end of that. I believe there's something major that happened there. I think the 49 car or the 48 car, one of the two, have gone off as well. That's the 48, is it?
Yes, and they got getting going again. They're slow. That looks like front, real big front end damage there, Jesse. Bump was not really connected to the front.
We'll see if we can catch anything. We'll start with Joel Bandera. They're already backwards. That looks like just hitting the, going over the curb, spinning to me.
Does, yeah, it could be another one of those exit curves on the right there, just getting loose on the exit of that corner there, and then obviously still flooring it, and yeah, just losing the rear on the curb. And yeah, interesting. Not a bad rejoin either. They waited ages, didn't want to get in anyone's way. Very well played to them.
Indeed. Well, Armamentario doing exactly what you would expect. Now let's go back to the Piotr Dominicus incident. I thought there may be contact, and I think you're about to see some.
On the trying to brake, caught the grass with the right rear, couldn't stop, slammed straight into the back of that Ferrari. That's what happened there, Jesse. And another car in the background, another Ferrari, getting a bit sideways out the hairpin. Every time we come out of a replay, we go back into another replay.
I can't tell. I couldn't even tell which car that was. I don't think it was Christian Benz. I think it was another Ferrari. But
there's probably the Ferrari behind.
Yeah. Could be
interesting race today, Jesse.
Yeah. Iriditas Partes, one of the Ferraris in that group. Not sure exactly which one of those was actually at fault. Luckily, you at home can pause the video and figure it out. Just want to give a shout out. Oh, hello. Well, I said
I shouldn't laugh. It's not nice. I'm laughing because every time I try and say something, something happens.
That was Christian Benz off for Goat Racing, rough as sandpaper. We should really stop talking about race cars and race teams. I'm going to go to the chat. Fat Stick says it is bog off, Jesse. Les, bog off is something you take to the loo. Ben Racing says apparently we want rain every week. They're loving it out there, singing in the rain as it were. Dark Pingo says the Merc is generally slippery on the rear and corner exit anyway. Matthew Malcolm says the Ferrari having bad reactions to the curbs from the look of it. Yeah, that is a very nice way to put it. I would say sketchy.
See, I haven't driven any of the cars apart from the Mustang recently. I've been driving that in the Monday Series and Night Owl. Sorry, Night Owl.
You gotta say
that's
it
all
right.
That's all I've driven, and I'm just so used to it. It's just so comfy everywhere. Some would say it's overpowered, but after the Silverstone race, I'd like to disagree with that one, as it's not actually that good at Silverstone, weirdly enough. But on some tracks it is a little bit too quick and does need a little bit of adjustment. But yeah, I haven't driven anything else since, so I can't really comment on how. Oh dear, a little bit of contact with the 202 and the 17, I think that was.
It was indeed. Manders and the Kaiju car, driven by Phil Roberts. And they have continued on in their race. Max Schneider trying to make the move for a top 15 spot and gets it done on the Team Monkey racing car with Marco Badowski behind the wheel.
Well, you may be looking at the left-hand side of the screen and seeing there's a lot of red numbers next to people's names. Well, yes, there's more penalties coming through, and we continue with lap 10, 10, 12 involving the 777, the 316, and the 796. 10 seconds for 316 avoidable contact. Followed on from that in the same corner, lap 10, turn 12 involving the 777 and the 796, warning for car 777 not holding brakes. Lap 14, turn 10 involving the 202 and the 234, warning for car 234 unsafe rejoin. Lap 14, turn 9 involving the 234, the 59 and the 666. 20 seconds for car 59, takeout position unable to be returned.
20 seconds. That's a big one today. Some of you may recall the days where we'd give drive-throughs for stuff like that. We don't do that anymore. The stewards give way less stringent penalties now. 5 second is now the garden variety penalty that you'll get, a warning a lot of the times for stuff. 20 seconds, that is massive by modern standards here.
Yeah, sure is. Lap 14, turn 9 involving the 59 and the 666, warning for car 666. Another one not holding the brakes. And then we've got a lap 4, we've gone backwards. Lap 4, turn 17 involving the 31, the 17, the 86 and the 686. 5 seconds for car 17, avoidable contact. And what's this? Got Lexus, and then we got the Nissan. The Nissan following the 17 of the Porsche, and oh, jeez, that was a very close one. Nice avoidance from Phil Roberts there, knowing that he can't make the corner, he just turns left just in time. Rather take a track cut warning and end up in a big crash.
Valentin Dubik drove off of the racetrack, Dale Earnhardt style. Man,
Kevin Estra.
that was that was as bold as it was ballsy.
I've tried that and ended up in a big crash.
I've tried that in other sims in the rain, and every time I try to turn back to the racetrack, the steering doesn't work, and I'm just like, well, I hope the track's going this way because I can't turn anymore. So that was incredible. And there was a curb there that they hopped as well. That was a scary moment. My question to you, Ted, is that a legal move if he does that? Technically, he's on the racetrack, right? He's got two on. Is that a legal move?
Legal. I say it's legal because he's got two tires over the white line in the track limits. So, you know, if it was fully off and just on the grass, then obviously that would be an illegal move. But yeah, very. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't advise of doing that.
Yeah, yes. Ballsy. Oh my goodness. I saw him go over that. I was like, surely he's gonna retreat. Nope, absolutely not. Went over the curb and everything. Yeah, as you were saying, Tim. Ooh.
One more incident. Lap 7, turn 3, involving the 707, the 9, and the 900. 5 seconds for car 900 overtake with contact. And I've also noticed the 767 came down pit lane, a 44-second stop, and I'm guessing that's just for fuel, Jesse. If they're on wets, that would just be for fuel, because it's light rain, medium rain now, light rain in 10, and medium rain again in 30. It's very up and down with this rain. I think we're going to have a full 6 hours of wet weather racing.
Well, some teams are going to love that. Some teams are going to loathe that. Just a reminder, anyone tuning in at home, disregard what tires it appears like they are running on currently. That is just a desync on my end there. As we believe most people are on wets, it would have been a very bullish call to make to go out there on dry tires. And especially now with the track completely wet, you may see the yellow Pirelli P0 sidewalls and think, oh my gosh, they're out there on dries. They're probably not. They're probably on wets, but it defaults to the dry tire if you join the server when they're already on the formation lap, and that's exactly what I did. So a little bit of a desync there, but nothing to worry about. Though some of the spins, if they were on dry tires, it would make sense, but we know these cars can be quite tricky in the sort of intermediate phase of the track where it's a little bit dry and a little bit wet. The curbs are lava. It can be a bit of a problem. Yes,
we just have to wait until everyone else has done the pit stops, which should be in about 10 to 15 minutes time. They've got a max stint length of 65 minutes for the driver, and then they have to come in down pit lane and do a pit stop to reset the time. And they also have a max driving time for however many drivers they have. I think for 4 drivers, 2 hours and 15 minutes is the maximum they can do before they can't do any more. And if they go over, they'll get a penalty applied to them by the game. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one as well, especially if one driver out of 3 or even 2 can't do any racing and they have to go over the time. Then some penalties will be shown up on the left hand side, but we'll keep you up to date on that one. Another car's gone round before Aqua at the top of the hill, the 48 again. Struggling a little bit in this wet weather.
That was contact, actually. Let's show you what happened there.
Ooh, spicy. Oh, hello. Yeah, I can see the contact.
I might have missed
there
it.
we go.
I think I might want to. I think I
So,
might want to see that again.
One McLaren was half span on the exit curb at the top of the hill.
Is this the same incident, I wonder?
So there's yes. So there's the slide, the McLaren behind, straight to the back.
That's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
The 48, and we'll show you this again. The 48's trying to dodge an incident here, but doesn't know where the car's going. Makes the wrong decision to go left. The 723 straightens back up. Nowhere to go for Joel Bandera and directly Bandera, excuse me. Joel Bandera right into the back. A lot of Americans in this series, I've noticed. Somewhat odd to see so many Americans outside of Night Owl, but they've shown up for the World Tour this year.
Yeah, it's quite nice to see it being the World Tour.
Speaking of, this is what I'm talking about, Saber Katsune. Normally, Night Owl is the roaming grounds of the American drivers. We've got American Night Owl champions, of course, but you don't usually see them racing in the daylight here at RCI anyway. Normally you see them doing the night stint. Oh, the Porsche. That was a scary rejoin there.
Yeah, you say Night Owl is where the Americans are.
Oh, sorry, Night Owl.
Night Owl. It's a lot of the Europeans driving that series, and it's quite a late one. As we do have another race tonight for Night Owl. It's going to be interesting.
Got to figure out what happened here. But yes, indeed, Night Owl season continuing. 3 races left to go. Remember, you can join any championship mid-season by going to racerci.com and signing up. You can be on the grid for tonight's Night Owl race. There's a lot of drivers in this race that will be at Night Owl this evening. Unfortunately, no stream this evening, but we will have normal service resumed next weekend. We're watching Erzkabel here, who has looped it, but that's not what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is this.
Oh God, I don't like this.
Oh man!
How did they miss? That's close.
By the skin of your teeth is how that happened.
We've seen a lot of Porsches spin out on that exit curve there, Jesse. It's quite interesting to see, well, to know why they keep spinning out, as the 888 is down pit lane to do their first pit stop.
Anthony
Seems a little bit early, but
it might be. But Anthony Loudett was in. The number 17 was in. Nick Manders has gotten out. Sam Grant has been installed into the number 17. The reason I bring that up is because that is in the time window of when you would reliably or realistically want to take your first stop. A little early, yeah, maybe, as Wall goes for a huge slide there, but is able to gather it back up. Marco Badowski is not phased at all, and the Team Monkey Racing 45 continues to try and battle up inside the top 15. They've taken 15th, and now they're looking for 14th. Might smell a little bit of blood in the water here. Thinks about it, overruns it, and can't make it. It almost doesn't really make the corner.
Two different lines there from the same manufacturer.
2 different lines, 2 different racetracks.
Well, yes, but actually making his own corners didn't quite work out.
Just
for him,
got deep. Just went in there deep. He was prepared, was Marco, to go and take Wall deep into that corner. Realized, nope, I don't have the overlap, but still broke late. Luckily, was on the correct side of the racetrack, so it wasn't an issue at all. Just ended up ruining that corner, and now it'll be another lap that Badalski has to run to catch back up to Wall. It's just a frustrating moment there, thinking that I might be able to get some overlap here, and unable to do it. It's the things that in a race that happen all the time. It happens every lap, but you don't catch it unless you're actively watching them. And yet another car we went to that has had a mistake. The curse is real, and we apologize.
Yeah, we don't mean to do it. It's just
we're not doing it on purpose.
We're there at the right time and the wrong time for the drivers, basically.
Oh man,
it's how it is. But it's so slidey out of that little chicane.
Side by side, but the inside will go to Wall.
I think what it is it's still it's gone from a wet track to a damp track, so there is more grip with these wet tyres, and they're just turning the TCs down, trying to get the most out of it without the traction control cutting the power too much, trying to get more power than the car in front down onto the track from the tyres. And yeah, just some people just getting their foot down too early, not being nice and progressive on the throttle, and just spinning the rears up, and it shows when you see the steering wheel left and right out of corners, and they're trying to just keep it in a straight line rather than trying to spin it around.
Ted, there are so many penalties on this timing and scoring board.
There is, Jesse, and there's two more that have just come through. We have lap 20, 10, 16 and 17 involving the 111 and the 294. 5 seconds for the 294 avoidable contact. And then we've got lap 23, turn 9 involving the 727 and the 31. 5 seconds for car 31. Touched grass on entry to the corner and tapped the 727, which is the one we saw from, I think that was from Dominicus. Just catching the rear right on the grass on braking, and yeah, you just slide. You just don't have any grip on the track, and that's it. You are into the back of the car in front of you.
Oh, he's done it again!
I wonder if that's the slipstream giving you a bit more speed, and then obviously you're braking at the normal point where you would do in clean air, and he's just overshooting. And obviously with the dirty air, it's just picking the front up, so you're just not getting the braking done right. And it's slowing him up. It's gonna let the two cars behind catch up with the 666 and the 59.
Yep, you're absolutely right about that. Here is Andy Hearn for the Onid car. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Stefan Wall and the 723 team. I think Florian Brand, Kevin Harold also on that team. I didn't realize what their team name was. I didn't realize that they're the left-handed racing. I assume you're right-handed, Ted, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm left-handed. I'm part of the 11% of the world that is left-handed. I can get behind that. There are some people that say that handedness matters in racing, but I never really felt like it has.
I think if you're in a manual car, it would.
Well, see, you say that. Well, I'm a really bad use case because I use both my hands for everything. Like I'm not ambidextrous. I can't write with both hands, but I can pour like a glass of water, or I can do fine motor skill things with my right hand the same as my left. I can't write with my right hand. But I am part of the 11%, and, proud to be weird. Do you know in America you can get a, what's it called? It's some sort of grant to go to college if you are left-handed.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a lot of money, but it's some, just by being left-handed.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
It's very weird.
Well, pit stops are commencing. That's not weird. And what is annoying is both Stephen Wall for Left-Handed Racing and Badowski for Team Monkey have come in. And even more annoyingly, they're nose to tail in their pit boxes as well. So they'll be probably nose to tail coming out of the pit stops. Still got about a lap or so that these drivers and teams can go. This is going to get real sketch. As Nico Kumpu, I believe that is, and it is, has gone off the racetrack. They've lost a couple of spots here. Piotr Dominicus has once again, for the second time in the race, despite all the drama that has befallen the Wheatley Slow team, for the second time, they've been the exact correct distance away from an incident to get multiple positions potentially.
So pit stops are happening. Just over a quarter of the grid have done a pit stop, and it's roughly about 1 minute 21 to 22 seconds, depending if you're getting your pit box properly and not having to be moved about. So yeah, it looks like people are taking fuel and they're taking tyres for the next stint, which I think you can in ACC take double stinted wets. I don't know how the drop off is. I know with dries the drop off is pretty crazy in the second half. Well, your second stint, they feel horrible. They feel like squares half the time. But I'm not sure about the wet weather tyres because they're free basically for these drivers right now. They don't. They have a limited set of wets. That we can't control that. That is just how it is. So if it keeps going on like this, they won't have to use dries at all, Jesse, which will be something that most of the teams don't mind. Some of the teams will mind. Some of the ones that are probably better in the dry weather racing. But just have to wait and see. That rain might, just after this next medium rain in the next 30, might go back to some dry racing. We just have to wait and see. 5 hours, well, just under 5 hours of the race left to go. So only an hour and 4 minutes in. Anything can happen, as we're seeing. Loads of penalties come through. People are clearing their penalties in the pit stop, and a lot of the cars coming down pit lane now. That is about the right time. Just about 65 minutes of the stint gone, and I think everyone this lap should be coming in.
Zhao couldn't find his pit box in behind the 475. Had to pull out. That does lose you time doing that. Any unnecessary movements like that. But didn't know where the pit box was. Too many cars in front of him. Had to jerk the car back out of the lane for a second. It's just little things like that that you don't always have to deal with, but you do when there's such a large grid, so many cars coming at the same time. Pit stops definitely going on here. The top three have not come in, though. Felipe Brecha continues to lap, but they will not have an option. They are going to have to come in. The same with Bram Departier and Philip Ingman. The Vlanderen car and the nearly on pace car, along with the leading RCI Esports blue car, all having to come in this time because you only have a 65-minute stint limit. Regardless if you change the driver or not, regardless if you stop or not, that car has to break the timing beam at the beginning of pit lane every 65 minutes. You don't actually have to stop. Now, a lot of people know that, but you can take a drive-through penalty, for lack of a better term, and that resets it. But, of course, obviously you need fuel. Even in the longest range of cars, you need fuel every 80 or so minutes. So only makes sense that you come in, maximize, and do your stop. Felipe Brecha in this time. No dramas there. No dramas for Bram Departier for Team Vlanderen. And smooth for Ingman and nearly on pace. No dramas for the top three. You could probably put the 707 in there as well. RPMS Sim Sports, Tom Shipston installed into that car in relief of João Manso. Looks like it's gone to plan, even if it was a little bit of a rocky opening couple of laps. Just want to say, with all the penalties and stewarding that has had to occur today, all of the red on the side of the screen, as your goat has got to stop and go 30, that can only be for speeding in the pit lane. Not a smooth pit stop there. Easy to slide in and out of your box here. But just wanted to give a shout out before we sign off for the morning or the afternoon for the most of the world. Big shout out to Race Control, McKenna McConnell, our stewards, DB, Carlos Caladiad's in there, Daniel D, Gersty, Callum, Tom Watts. I know Phil Roberts, our chief steward, will be in there at some point shortly. But the entire stewarding group, the unsung heroes, the people that often take the flack, even when they're correct. It's a thankless job, but they do it, and they do it incredibly well. There might be some more stewarding needed here in a minute if this doesn't settle down. 3 wide, the leader coming through. Scary moments, scary days here, and they all somehow survive and end up single file again. Felipe Brescia staying in the car. Amandeo de Kaiser installed into the Vlanderen car. John Dalton has been installed. We know that guy. John Dalton installed into the nearly on pace 899. Talk about a driver that's had a resurgence in sim racing. He's been doing broadcasting for the past 2 or 3 years, however long it's been, and that has kept his racing to somewhat of a minimum. Rejoined sort of recently in RCI to race, and found himself in the top 10 immediately, then the top 5, then on the podium by the end of the season. John Dalton, jack of all trades, he can do it. Hopefully he can get it done in the rain today.
Yeah, we have to wait and see. Just see, like I say, anything can happen. Like Breccia almost got into a bit of a pile up there, but with the other 2 cars that were fighting for position, so it's difficult when you're one of the front runners following some of the back marker cars, and sometimes when the back markers are fighting with each other, they'll have the blue flags, but they'll just not really see them because they're focused on the car in front for position. So a bit of contact here, no, just a simple overtake. Yeah, very nicely done by the 444. But yeah, so
like to highlight nice passes, you know.
Yeah, got to show them off every now and then. Oh,
could be a repass here.
About entry into turn 2 and 3, and no, it keeps it going. Yeah, but that's the thing. People are fighting with each other. Don't notice what you're behind. You want to try and get past it, not lose time on the cars in front or the cars behind catching you up, and it's difficult. It's like multi-class racing when it gets to this part in the race. You know, some of the cars at the back of the field will be slower than the cars at the front by a couple of seconds, and it does get difficult. And you can flash as much as you want, and sometimes it just won't notice you. But just have to be careful when you're a back marker under blue flagged, because you can get a penalty if you don't give the space in a good enough amount of time.
Daniel Taberner for the 678 under the Kessel livery, and they are trying to get by Cruisin in the 111 currently. We'll see if they're able to do that. We're going to depart in just a little bit from now. We're going to bring you a little bit more racing up until then. But just reading some things from chat. Swingley was mentioning about the left-handed people, that left-handed people seem to be a bit more ambidextrous just from practice. It is a right-hander's world, as you would expect. 89% of the world is thereabouts. So that does make sense. I didn't mean Grant earlier. I meant to say you can get tuition for it's a small piece of tuition for being left-handed. I don't know how you prove that. I never took advantage of anything like that, but I was told that growing up, that there is sort of scholarships, small scholarships that you can add to other things for being left-handed. Matthew Malcolm has answered your question from earlier on double stinting the wet tires. Says that I wouldn't say it's worth it, considering how hot they were for most of the cars that just took them off.
Well, all about Matthew Malcolm. He's sat in our interview green room. If you wanna have a little chat with him, Jesse, I'll drag him in.
Yeah, go for it.
It's Mr. Malcolm. Are you here?
Hello.
How you doing, my dude?
Yeah, doing really well after our wee bit of an incident at the start.
Bit of an incident.
Yes, I can't remember the incident. There's been so many. So would you like to refresh our minds and everyone in chat?
You've already seen it. Turn one,
yeah?
lap 1. It's collateral damage, really, isn't it?
Yeah, things do happen, especially when everyone gets close, and it is wet. But how is the weather in today's race? Obviously, it's up and down. It goes from damp to wet, and the rain's up and down, getting heavier and lighter. What is it like for you guys driving
Yeah, I
And
mean, so we kind of knew where we're gonna be, so it was just more of a matter of just trying to figure out what the next 30 minutes are going to be and just try and attack from there. And so far, it's working well. We're just obviously tire pressures are good, temperatures are good, even though everybody else is kind of struggling from what we're seeing.
so what tires did you start on? Because obviously we had a little bit of a problem here. We think my side is right, but everyone was starting on wet. From what we could tell. Did you start on the wet tire to start off
Oh
with?
yeah, we definitely did. It was no doubt with that because obviously it was a wet track at the start of the race, and then light rain across. It's impossible to drive. You know that much.
But that's what I thought, and then I didn't back myself up a bit and just got enough. So that was that. But no, yeah, it's just that tad bit too much rain to try and get those dries up to pressure. But
Yeah, it's that weird like middle part where it's too dry for wets and too wet for the dries. So obviously it's just a matter of just trying to mitigate it because you probably saw everybody was having overheating tires and all that sort of stuff. So kind of knew that we had to switch up on the strategy. So we boxed in early and then we just managed to take a massive gain through the undercut. So hopefully we'll be able to keep our position going through to the end of this race.
nice. So you don't have to tell me, obviously, because there's other teams listening. But I guess you like you said in chat, you switching from wets to wets every stint because it makes sense and you'll keep the time in
Yes.
there.
I
With
mean, you're
this,
seeing it.
go
Oh,
on.
sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, we're currently seeing right now, 30 minutes from now, it's going to be medium rain. That's going to be even heavier. So right now, we're more just trying to keep ourselves concerned about the wet track and just try and see what happens to the evolution.
So are you like changing your pressures every time, or are you just trying to get a midpoint pressure that is maybe a little bit over pressure for this type of rain, and obviously when it gets medium raining and the tires start cooling down a bit, are you just trying to keep it in the midpoint rather than them being overheated or like way under in certain parts?
Yeah, we're just trying to keep ourselves. We're changing it every single stint, or we're trying to keep an eye on it so we know where to be with it. Because obviously, if you're overpressured, you're just going to keep sliding about, and if you're under pressure, you're not going to generate enough heat to keep that grip. So,
Yeah.
of course, so it's just a matter of just trying to figure out where the midpoint is. I think everybody else is doing that right now because first stint everybody was overheating. Now probably too many people are going to be focusing on how heavy the rain's going to be the next 30 minutes when they should really be focusing on what's happening right now. Because at the
Yeah,
end of
so
the
it's-
day, I mean, at the end of the day, you're not getting drive anywhere with melted tires, are you?
no, that is true, and it's very difficult when the weather's like this. But yeah, it's so difficult when you pressures to changing all over the place. Obviously, in the next 30, it's getting heavier on that medium rain. So just have to wait and see what happens with the track. Obviously, track state will go to wet, but yeah, it's I wouldn't want to be in your guys' shoes trying to work out like what pressures do we need and like what do we do, because it does get a little bit mind-boggling. Plus, you've got to try and you know look after your the guy who's driving in the car and make sure you've got someone helping to spot. So yeah, it's very difficult from all sides in this race. But Jesse, do you have any questions for Malcolm?
Yeah, Matt, I do have a question. Thanks for coming and talking to us. Explain the livery.
I did that for the 24 hours. What are you talking about?
Well, I was on holiday for that, so. Oh wait, no, I wasn't on holiday for that. I was at work for
Yeah.
that. So.
Right. We were talking in the green room a bit, weren't we? Yeah, just obviously something that we just added that came up with. Something that's obviously very different than what you've seen from what I've made before and what we've gone through previous seasons. So yeah, just looks. I think it looks awesome.
Well, for those of you that we're showing it on the screen now, it's a looks like a ceremonial.
Demonic.
Okay, I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, it's a demonic goat head with some interesting numbers carved into its face. What kind of calamity are you attempting to bring upon us?
I mean, I don't know. It's more how you interpret this. We're trying to be well, we tried to have the better luck than we had on previous races. We had obviously won the first race in our split, but it's been going downhill since. But we were holding strong right now for where we are, so kind of hoping that we can able to keep a good position for the end of it. But yeah,
How annoyed are you that you're not the 666?
what was triple? It's not the end of the world, is it?
Well, it may be if whatever ritual you're trying to conjure with that car comes true.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not sheep racing. We're using our.
Well, obviously that's a goat.
No, it's a sheep.
Is it a sheep's head?
Yeah, it's a demonic sheep head.
Oh, that's somehow weirder that you've done that. I really like it. I saw this livery in 2D form before I ever saw it on the car, and I fell in love with the purple and sort of everything around the ritual that's occurring on it. Really, I don't know what it is, but it's that shade of purple and all of that. Usually, for not sheep racing, I know what to expect, but this one, of all the liveries, is one that caught me off guard. I didn't expect this, and it's been interesting to see it out there on the racetrack. I expected you to come in and go, yeah, we've been praying for the downfall of our fellow competitors, but apparently that's not the case. Do you
can't do that.
do you pray to the sheep god for good luck then?
Well, every time I pray to the sheep god, it always seems to get me murdered, and that's a little friend funny moment with myself.
Chad is asking you a question. They're saying not sheep, actually sheep confirmed.
Well, not sheep. I think not sheep racing kind of formed when we had a guy called Sheep that didn't start that's supposed to race with us but never did. So we kind of named ourselves that years ago.
That's where that came from. That's big brain thinking. I like that.
That is, by the way, that is, by the way, in no way what I thought the team name meant.
Oh, what did you think it was?
Well, there's a certain connotation to being called a sheep, right?
Okay.
And I thought that you were making I thought that the whole team was making a vibrant statement about their car selection and their driver selection or something of that nature. But turns out it's just a guy you know named Sheep.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen us. We drive any car.
That's why I thought that.
Particular one.
I genuinely thought, I was like, oh yeah, I get it, because they don't drive the it car on purpose. But,
no. I mean, you've seen myself. You've seen Mike. We've all, and anybody else on our team. We've always driven different cars. We've never really stuck to one particular car, except for me that took Night Owl for the Ferrari for an entire year. But we don't talk about that. But no, I mean, the Ferrari's a solid car. It's a good, solid all-rounder car, but it just does have its problems. That's why I kind of moved on from it and try and see if we can switch it up every race.
Well, Michael, I'm going to ask you, shout out your teammates, your team, and I'm going to hand you back to my partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, on you go. I was just responding to Jesse.
Well, yeah, I hope you're best of luck for the rest of the race. 4 hours and 40 minutes left. Anyone you wanna give a little bit of a shout out to? Oh, dearie me, what is happening here? Everyone's off at the chicane. 3 cars off, 444, the 234, and a Ferrari. Please hold, Malcolm. There is something going on here.
Your call is important to us. Oh, tagged into the back, and it's going bowling at the Glen all over again.
Your
Kotzinger,
car, luckily, gets through.
Sure did. Kotzinger
Apparently.
got shot through the center, and that was indeed a very messy incident.
I thought they were at Imola, not the Watkins Glen with the let's go bowling signs, but...
Well, it's wet enough to be upstate New York. Something happens to Jordan Daly here installed into the car. Oh, just gets into the 48, I believe that is.
Yeah, I think it was Jesse. Well done on grabbing that one. Very, yeah, I'm not sure who is really at fault there. There was quite a bit of room on either side of the track for both cars, but back to Malcolm. Sorry for putting you on hold. Yeah, anyone you would like to give a shout out to? Team, family members, friends?
just the team itself and everybody that was supporting us. Everybody seemed like we've had we always seem to have not always the best of luck. We've always seemed to be kind of a bit down in the dumps when it comes to us getting contact or things not going well. Because I mean, for the 24 hours we had 4 disconnects.
I did hear about that.
So we were pretty unlucky with that. But even then, I mean, for this season, I'm quite proud of what we've done. I think the thing that I've learned most from this season from us is if the luck goes our way a little bit more, where we're not as unlucky, we do have the pace. We do have the consistency to be fighting among top 15, top 10s and all that sort of stuff in our split, maybe even trying to go for the win. I mean, you saw from the first race of split 2, we won that race through really good strategy and really good pace. And yeah, I'm quite proud of the guys I'm with, and yeah, I don't think I'll be racing with anybody else except for the people who I'm with.
Oh,
that is such kind words from Matthew Malcolm. Thank you very much for coming for an interview, my dude, and I hope you the best of luck for the rest of the race, and you might be able to sneak in for a win in your class.
Yeah, just best of luck to everybody else, because I know it's gonna be quite a tricky day with a wet track.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be wet all day today. But yeah, thank you very much for coming and chatting with us today.
Yeah, have yourselves a good one. I'll probably talk to you guys later on.
there you have it. Matthew Malcolm for Not Sheep Racing coming in and talking to us. Always lovely to hear from the Malk, and wishing them, of course, the very best. I call him the Malk sometimes, and he's never told me to stop it, so I just keep calling him that. But it's the Not Sheep Racing has some interesting cars. A lot of them have a picture of a sheep with a line through it, obviously not sheep. But I thought that was a goat's head this entire time. I thought it was a goat's head. It's not a goat's head. Apparently that's a sheep's skull, and apparently they're not up to anything nefarious at all. Aaron Jackson, Action Jackson as I like to call him, installed into the Kaiju 202 GTR. That's your silver winner from the 24-hour, I'm told.
Yeah, won by 2 laps, I believe, Jesse Lee.
That's got to be up there for the biggest margin of victory ever in an RCI race. That's huge.
Yeah, 2 hour lead. No, 2 lap.
A 2-hour lead. A 2-hour lead around the Nordschleife would be 2 laps thereabout, right? That's a joke. People at home.
2 lap lead over the 444 Go Racing Smooth as Butter, and they were 1 lap in front of the 117 SRT Mac and Cheese McLaren. In the 24-hour in AM, it was a 767 with a 34.5 second lead over the 116 that had a 5-lap lead over the 111 in the AM class. That was for split 2, and if I go to split 1 real quickly, RCI Esports Blue 769 had a 1 lap over the nearly on pace car that had a problem on the one of their stints. I think it was at the end they had to they ran out of fuel, Jesse, and they had to tow back to pit lane, so they lost.
What car was that?
The win, the 899, nearly on pace.
Goodness gracious.
So yeah, they ran out of fuel. A few cars did run out of fuel. They're trying to push it to the edge and didn't make it, so it was unfortunate there, but they did finish 4 laps ahead of SPHE Motorsport, the 969. In the silver split 2, Dutch Sim Racing Team, or DSRT as we know them, 3-lap lead with the fastest lap over the 30 Rebound Racing Juniors, and they had a 3-lap over the Onid Esports 900. So bit of a rough one for some cars in the 24 hours of Red Bull Ring. Like I said earlier, didn't have much rain. I think they had 3 10-minute showers in the whole thing, so they had to try and look after their dry tyres and double stint quite a few of them to get them to the end of the race, and there was a lot of punctures, Jesse, a lot of punctures in that race very early on as well. Some people, some teams trying to double stint in the heat, and obviously that's not what you want to do. You want to try and double stint in the night when it's cool and you can save a lot more tyre and tyre wear. But yes, a very unfortunate 24-hour for some of the teams.
Yeah, I was sad to actually have missed that in its entirety, but so many stories when I came back to hear how it had went for some. It went perfectly. For others, it was absolutely miserable, the 24 hours of Red Bull Ring. And the problem with Red Bull Ring is we knew going in that it's such a small racetrack. A lap around there is so quick. You make one mistake, you're half a lap down. So it's no surprise. I know a lot of people at home here, oh my gosh, there was a lap or two between leaders. Yes, but it was the Red Bull Ring. It wasn't like, well, we're at Imola, for instance. That would be unlikely to happen in a 24-hour race. But Red Bull Ring, you make one mistake and it's over. You have to take an unscheduled pit stop. You're the better part, if not a full lap down. So what would have been more incredible to me is that if it was on cars finished on the same lap. But sad to have missed that for sure. Definitely was a lot more fun than what I was doing around that time. But also, Ted, we appreciate you taking the helm and getting a broadcast out for everybody at home. Well, we're approaching the 4.5-hour mark left in this race. It's about that time that we take a step away, and we will rejoin you for the final hour or so of the race. Keep an eye on the way things have gone thus far. Started P2, did RCI Esports Blue. Felipe Brecha has been in the car for both stints thus far over Martin Lawrence, who is lambasting you in the chat, by the way. On pole position was the Vlaanderen car with the number 2 Aston. Bram Departier started that car. De Keyser in it now. They continue to lap around in P2, P1 in their class overall. And very quietly, Philip Ingman ran third and nearly on pace. Had to fight for some of the spots early, but they're up in third now. John Dalton has taken over that car. That's your top 3 overall. And if I'm not mistaken, well, I can find you for sure your AM leader, Saber Kitsune, who has been in the car since the start, as far as I recall, for the RK9 Motorsport. Get it? It's RK9. RK9. You get it? You get it, Ted? In the Growlithe number 58. So other cars in the field, of course, in the Split 2 Silver field. Apologies, I can't find the exact leader in your class right now, but that is on me. Not I know where Aaron Jackson is, but I don't know if he's actually the leader there or not. But either way, there's where the majority of the field are running. A lot of penalties early on, some self-inflicted ones on pit road that time through as well. The rain has been with us throughout and looks like it's going to continue to come and go throughout this entire race. Ted, before we wrap up for the first part of today, do you have anything that you'd like to mention?
I'd just like to read chat real quick before we do head off. Martin Lawrence said, why did I spend so much time setting the boat up to the front on dry the double easy? He said Tom and Ted, so well, you can blame Tom as well. I don't mind that. Mikhail was saying they got shafted with pit track limits on pit entry. Yes, we had a problem. If you go for the little white line on pit entry, just a tiny bit, and all 4 wheels are on that, 2 wheels are on that white line, and you don't cross it, you still get a track DT. So a lot of people getting like that, having to serve the drive-through and run out of fuel. That's what happened. So yes, but yeah. 2 more penalties, 5 seconds for the 17 twice, one with the 444 and one with the 999. There's lap 35 turn 2 and lap 38 turn 1. Both were overtake with contact, so they're on their 4th 5-second penalty now. So they've got some LP being added on to their race today. But apart from that, no. It's going to be an interesting race when we come back in 3.5 hours time, Jesse, or so. I will keep an eye on this race and see what happens, and try and keep everyone up to date as we continue through the rest of this race. And I'm hoping we see some dry racing soon, but I don't think that will happen.
We certainly will see. 4.5 hours left to go in the World Tour finale for 2024. This is the 6 hours of Imola. We'll be back with just about an hour left to go in the race. You'll see the upcoming stream show up on YouTube. We'll be back live in about 3.5 hours time for the finale, there or thereabout. For now, Felipe Brecha has taken the lead on the initial start, and they have not looked back. It's a healthy margin back to De Keyser and John Dalton. Those are your top 3 overall. Thank you all for watching. A big thank you, of course, to our partners that make this race and every race possible as well. AK Esports for the esports services that they provide us. They help us do every single race. Moza, of course, a new partner. Get some Moza equipment from the link in the description. And, of course, Go setups. A lot of Go setups being needed here today. I can guarantee you that. I've been Jesse Lee, joined by Ted Edwards. We'll see you in just a few hours to wrap up the championship and the race. And until then, we'll see you next time.